All right. Good afternoon. Thank y'all ladies for coming today. I know this was not one of the things on your list to do, but I really appreciate y'all coming to help me out. All right. Today we're going to do a coaching cycle on something that needs improvement in our building. And so what I chose was Get Better Faster. And I know you've all heard of Get Better Faster because that is something that our district focuses on. Tell me, what do you think Get Better Faster actually means?
Just digging deeper and being intentional on pre-service and then actual service, and then looking at it, what we could do after to improve.
That's good. That is exactly what it is. Get Better Faster is exactly what it says. It is the framework that we're going to use that allows us to use like a bite size, like a specific thing to do to focus on a specific or particular area of teaching that we want to improve. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Just as our kids, we want to make greater strides when we focus on small bite size pieces. So we're going to target some things that we need to work specifically on and go deeper with those particular skills. With that in mind, I want you to take a few minutes to look at the Get Better Faster scope and sequence. I know that you've all saw this because that's our main focus in the district, but just take a few minutes to familiarize yourself with it. Start at phase one. So if you're not on the page with phase one, start at phase one. And you know that with Get Better Faster, there's two columns or two things that we focus on. We mainly look at the management part and the rigor part when we're in your classroom. So we look at those two components. You know, with those two components, there are 4 phases that we will take a look at. And you've kind of been chosen for this because I know that you're very used to the Get Better Faster portion, but in the past, we've only looked at the quick feedback. So this year, we're going to dig deeper and we're going to look at the See It, Name It, Do It portion. So we're going to go a little deeper with it ourselves in the this upcoming school year. So what I want you to do is look at the management portion only, or the component only of the Get Better Faster. I want you to choose one of those phases that you would like to work on. So look at the phases, choose a number and a concept that you want to focus specifically on this upcoming school year. When you found that specific concept, then I want you to log it and then answer those next 3 questions. All right, so you were tasked with looking at the management component of the Get Better Faster. You were to choose one of those numbers or concepts that you would like to implement or focus on specifically or particularly in your classroom this upcoming school year. And then you had to tell me why you chose that area and if you needed help or what type of help or specific supports would you need to help implement or to better or to improve that area. So let's look at your first part. Let's look at the management, the number or the concept that you chose. What concept did you choose?
Okay, I chose phase 3, management 9, which is engage all students.
All right, so we're looking at engaging all students this upcoming school year. Why did you choose that? What made you choose that?
The students that are coming up to 4th grade could benefit from whole student engagement to help with behavior.
Okay, so you want to take that and you want to look specifically in when you're engaging all students, you're looking at the behavior portion. Why do you say that?
Getting them to actually focus on one task at a time and not being distracted by what's going on around them or just in general, just not focusing.
And why is that so important?
Well, they won't be able to learn. They won't be able to comprehend what they're being taught.
Because we typically have small groups.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, what do you see in your classroom? So like if you're doing small groups and you need your kids to focus specifically on what?
Just holding themselves accountable and being able to complete the work that's assigned to them that day, being able to focus and actually, I guess, comprehend what they're supposed to be working on.
All right, so what are there any school supports or what do you think might help you in this area?
I use the Kagan strategies that were used as examples by admin on data days. I love those and being able to incorporate those in the classroom.
So what type of support do you think you need? Will you need support during this endeavor? Will you need support from like the admins or the IP or your peers? What do you think you need that most support?
I think the most beneficial would be the peer, being able to collaborate with the teachers that they had the previous year.
I think you're absolutely correct. However, you will have your collaboration among your peers, but you'll also have that support from admins, in particular, Ms. Hurst and myself. We'll be coming in and we'll work specifically with you on the concept that you chose. We will be digging deeper into that, and what I mean by that, when we come in, we'll be doing this portion, adding the portion, the see it, name it, do it portion, so it'll be more than just a quick feedback. So we'll go deeper into what we saw when we came in, what did we see. So we'll do, specifically, we'll look at we'll set a goal when we first come in, and then we're gonna check to make sure that you have met that goal. And if you didn't, we'll give you steps on how to reach your goal, okay? But this is not specifically something that I'll give you, like it'll be collaboration among both of us in your classroom. So the main thing is setting the goal. What do you want to see from engaging all students? And so we'll set that goal, and then we'll talk about what made that successful and what didn't make it successful, and what do we need to do to change, or what can we do from this goal to help us to implement on next concepts to be successful and to meet our goal. We'll talk about the impact of what you did or to make it successful. How did it work? We'll talk about that, and how did that impact your student learning. We'll also talk about the things that we saw to make it successful, the criteria to make it successful. What is the purpose of all of it? And we already talked about, kind of tell me again, what did you say the purpose of making sure all your kids were engaged? What is the purpose? What was the purpose of making sure all of your students are engaged?
And being able to comprehend the lesson that's being taught.
which is the most important part. If they can't comprehend, then there's basically no learning, and we need all the learning that we can get. We'll also look at the gaps. We'll dig deeper into the gaps from the goal that we set, and if we didn't meet that goal, like what gaps do we have? What can we do to close those gaps? We'll name some of the things that you did specifically that worked well. We'll name some of the things that didn't work well, some of the things that we'll need to change. We'll talk about how we're going to execute it, how we're going to punch it. What do we need to do to move forward? How can we use these goals and these things to help us to move forward? We'll also plan out what it should look like, what steps you need to take to get there. And then we'll have a follow-up. After each one of these, we'll follow up with you to make sure that whatever steps you said that you were going to take to get to your success, if you were using those steps. If it didn't work, that's okay, but we gotta have a plan as to why it didn't work or what made us change. Okay? Questions, concerns?
Is this done each observation or?
This is done each observation. So we'll come in, the first week we'll come in and we'll do an observation. The next week we'll come in and, the next week we'll look at, our plan, and if something didn't work, what can we do to fix it? So with our follow-up, we'll come in and just talk about what we saw, what worked, and what didn't work. So what worked, we'll talk about how can we implement it in all other areas to make sure that we're successful, and what didn't work, we wanna make sure we don't want to implement that. So, we'll
I have a
close that.
question.
Yes.
Let's say that you go in and you do an observation, you give her the steps to do, you go back, you still don't see it. So you have a follow-up meeting. How many times do you do that before you put her on a cycle with the instructional partner?
Well, it just depends kinda on what it is and kinda how long that person has been working on this. So we try to get them, the object of it is to get better faster. I would say about 2 weeks. So we go in, we do an observation, we look at the steps, if they didn't master the steps, and then we go back in, well, I think that's the 3rd week. By the 3rd week, then we need to put her on a coaching cycle. Cause we don't wanna lose too much time, cause the object of it is to get better faster. Mm-hmm. And so do you know what that means when we put you like on an actual coaching cycle? With this, that means you'll have, go ahead.
With, I think with
Chalice, yes. So she'll come in each week, and then she'll model, and y'all, it's kinda like co-teaching. And you'll co-teach, she'll show you how it should be done, and then y'all just work together as a team. Any other questions, concerns? All right, we will follow up with this on next week. Let me stop that.